All right, really quick, I want to talk about the movie 65 starring Adam Driver because I saw it in theaters a few days ago and I have some words about it. I'm not trying to be like a saw this movie in theaters type of movie review channel, and I don't plan to be in the future. But this movie annoyed me so much that I think I have to talk about it. This comes from the brilliant minds of A Quiet Place, so take that however you want. I thought that the marketing team was just kind of throwing that in because A Quiet Place was a popular film that came out within the last 10 years, but it was actually more of an influence than I thought it was going to be, and not in a good way. What I mean is the cheap jump scares were very prevalent throughout this movie. They tried to do the Jurassic Park thing where the main characters are looking over the naturescape enjoying the scenery when all of a sudden a Komodo dragon looking thing comes out and scares them and tries to bite their head off. It was stupid and I hated it and annoying. The film's budget was around $45 million, but there's a lot of sources that say it's closer to $90 or even $100 million, but it felt like a $45 million movie. And I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but believe me, $45 million is like throwing 5 pennies and a stuffed animal at a wall and having a movie pop out. So here was my impression of the film after seeing the trailer, and for the majority of the film for the most part. Some future human civilization sends out missions to other planets for resources or information or whatever, and it just so happens that the inhabitants of this ship get stuck in a time warp or something and crash land on Earth 65 million years in the past. It sounds ridiculous, and it is, but at least it explains why there are humans on a prehistoric Earth in a roundabout way. But if you thought that like I did, you would actually be very wrong. The real explanation is actually even more ridiculous. The actual plot is, I'm not kidding, these humans just kinda exist 65 million years in the past on some distant planet, and Adam Driver crash lands on Earth. So this planet that we see at the start is not Earth, I guess. We have a total of 4 characters, and 2 of them are absent after the first 10 minutes. Adam Driver, who in this film goes by the name of Mills, has a daughter named, something, who is sick with some debilitating disease. What's the disease? I don't know, but it makes her cough a little bit, so we know it's bad. And that's all the character she needs, so we move on to the crashing on the Earth part. Quick, look for Jaden Smith! Mills crashes on the Earth and notices his entire crew is dead, and the only other survivor is a little girl who can't speak English. And he does this thing where to get her out of her cryogenic pod or whatever, he shoots the door handle off. I've seen this so many times in video games and movies, and it always puzzles me why it works. I'm pretty sure you have a better chance of killing the person inside than you do getting the door off its hinges. Mills and this little girl named Koa wander around prehistoric Earth, looking for the other half of the ship that broke off during the impact with Koa's family on it. But we know that everyone has been dead the whole time, so we're just waiting for the scene where the little girl screams, "Liar!" at the main character. Speaking of the little girl, the choice to make her not understand English would have been a fun addition to the Mills and Koa relationship if it meant anything. The writers for this film just decide at points that Koa can understand key pieces of English to move the plot along. So what's the point of her not speaking English? This choice basically gives her the same character traits as E.T. Just imagine if Elliot had to help E.T. get home, and along the way they had to dodge dinosaurs, giant bugs, and prehistoric geysers, and that's what this movie is basically. And I know what you're thinking, that sounds awesome, but also imagine that Elliot had the personality of a doorknob, and you have the real plot for this movie. The dialogue is really stupid too. At certain points they try to have lighthearted moments together, and it's so forced that you can tell the writers were just like, okay. Alright, we need a couple scenes where they have a heartwarming moment before they're almost eaten alive by a T-Rex. Oh, I know! Hey, don't eat those berries. Hey, they'll upset your stomach and you'll die. Honestly, the hyper-futuristic aesthetic is really, really boring. Every so often, Mills will pull out a beeping gadget that he uses for a specific task, and they all look really stupid. His gun that he carries around looks like it weighs a total of 3 pounds. Meanwhile, he takes out giant 20-ton dinosaurs with it, and of course it jams at the worst possible moments. There is no joke a scene where the gun jams, and to fix it, he just kind of turns it off and turns it back on again. So it turns out that when the ship Mills was on crashed into an asteroid, it sent the asteroid on a path towards Earth. And yes, it turns out that it's now the same asteroid that collided with Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. So if someone asks you what killed the dinosaurs, Adam Driver did. Adam Driver killed the dinosaurs. We finally find out at the end that the ship has an auto repair function, because of course it does. This film just introduces things to help move the plot along with the explanation of, hey, it's technology. So why didn't they just fix the ship when they're there at the beginning? They leave the planet before the Earth explodes and the film's over. And his daughter died of being boring. The end. The best part of this movie was the runtime. It was about an hour and a half, so thank God. Under 2 hours, that's perfect. Thank you. Overall, the film was a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Would see it 65 million more times. Goodbye.